And they're away in the Valencia Half Marathon, Trinidad Alonso EDP. We're looking at pace around 13:45 for 5 kilometres. The first kilometres on this course are traditionally quite quick, so if they're just ahead of that pace, don't be surprised. Just a very slight incline as they come up the bridge before setting off north into the old port area. Men and women starting together in this race. And it's already picking up very sharply. We'll see 3 pacemakers at the front. Trio of Kenyans, Bravin Kipkosgei, Solomon Kiplimo and Timothy Kibet. They've been employed to really pick up the pace. 13:45 is the target time for 5K, 27:30. That brings them bang on world record pace. That's 58-minute pace. Just remember, a half marathon isn't just 21 kilometers, it's 21.0975. People often forget that. I've seen so many television programs where they've actually just worked off 21 kilometers without tacking on those extra, let's just say 15 or 16 seconds. Well, the pacers off to the left-hand side of the road, the right-hand side of your screen. At the front is the world champion from 7 weeks ago, Jacob Kiplimo from Uganda, wearing the orange vest. He'll be easy to spot. Already the groups are starting to separate. Well, that's Dorcas Tuatek. Kenyan has a vest of 63.33. Well, the pacers doing their job, I hope. Should see when we go through the first kilometre point. Looking for 2:45 kilometres, so we're not far away from actually going through that first kilometre, and we can hopefully assess how quick they're going. As long as they stick to their pace, it's up to the rest of the field to chase them and stay with them and utilise their pace, and it does make so much of a difference. Well, they're quick. I mean, they've just gone through the 1 kilometre point in, I make it unofficially, around 2:42. Decent pacemaking at this stage. In the blue vest, it's Timothy Kibet, and alongside him, Bravin Kipkosgei. Out on the far left-hand side of your screen, Bernard Ngeno. Race now. Well, it's already separated quite a lot of the runners in this very big field, and the outside there's the third pacemaker, Solomon Kiplimo, towing a group as Kipkosgei and Kibet drift over to the left-hand side of the road.
Tap mo na yan with Food Panda.
Well, Dorcas Tuatek hurtling away at this stage. In the field is the defending champion, Sembere Tefare, I should say, getting, I do owe her my apologies, getting her name slightly mangled, Ethiopian. I've got no excuse, I've seen a lot of her over the years. She was the 2015 World Championship 5,000 metre silver medalist, same year that she actually got a silver medal at the World Cross Country Championships. I've commentated on a few of her races in her time. I make that a leading group of about 12 men, including the 3 pacers. So we've already had a number of the elite men already detached. You can just see there that the group's slightly splintered. We've of course got good Spanish representation in both these half marathon fields. 7 Spaniards in the men's race and 4 in the women's. We're not being helped terribly much by the clock in the lower right-hand corner. Letting the race unfold at this stage. Thank you very much indeed. We've got a little bit difficult. I've got my own watch on it, but I do like to actually work off the official timings. So we're looking for about 8 minutes 15 seconds through the 3 kilometre point. This is about 2.5 kilometres at the moment. So still plenty of running in this race. There's a switch back to the women's race. You can see the back there of Dorcas Tuek. Well, the pacers, Koska and Kibet, have been sticking to their task, but they've built up a bit of a gap. I would have been expecting perhaps the leading group to have stuck slightly closer to them. Well into the 3rd kilometre now. So very shortly we'll be taking a fairly sharp left-hand turn, and as we head westward into the city centre, that comes at about 3.5 kilometres. This course has been smoothed out a little bit since the World Half Marathon Championships. A few of the sharper turns have been taken out of it. Go, that's that westward turn. Tucked in there, we can see in the blue vest, just starting to appear from behind the pacer. Ronats Kipruto, also a very fine record on the track despite his young years. Just 19 years of age, the man in the blue vest there, with Ronax on his bib. In addition to those world records on the road here back in January, took the silver medal in the 10,000 meters at the World Athletics Championships last October in Doha. Kiplimo, well, they should be looking comfortable at this stage. Haven't even gone 4 kilometers into the race. Just tucked in behind Kipruto is Mutiso, Alexander Mutiso from Kenya. Another one of the 11 men who've run under an hour in their careers in this race. Mutiso wearing that green and blue bib on the left-hand side of your screen now. Well, dawn has just come up. Pretty much on pace at the moment. They just went through 4 kilometers in just a few seconds outside 11 minutes, so that does put them very nicely on 58-minute pace for this race. It's 58 minutes, well, astonishing time. If they were to get a world record on this course, world record setter would pick up an additional 70,000 euros. So this could be a very, very profitable day out for some of these men. Well, it's looking as though one of the pacemakers is already starting to struggle to keep to his allotted task. Solomon Kiplimo drifting back. But Kipkoskai in the blue vest. So it's Kibet in the black vest. Kibet and Kipkoskai doing a good job at the front. As you can see, well, a group of 4 is starting to get separated off the back of this group of leaders. And that group of 4 includes Julian Wanders. Well, speaking with Wanders the other day, he's not actually looking for a super fast time here. He's saying this is really much a race on the road to Tokyo, where he'll take on the marathon at the World Championships. Very shortly we'll be passing the 5 kilometer point. Let's keep our eyes open for that. 13:45 is the time we should be looking for. So I make it now just 7 men in that leading pack. We've got 2 Kiplimos. We've got Jacob Kiplimo, the world champion over this distance, in the orange vest. Also in there with P. Kiplimo, Philemon Kiplimo. Kenyan with another fine time to his name. Right, just keeping our eye open. Somewhere around here, we should be seeing a 5 kilometer marker. Didn't see it earlier, so I'm just wondering whether they've just slowed very slightly on this incline. Well, let's just assume that they've passed it for now. Tucked away and a little bit obscured. I can tell you that they did pass. There we go. 13:37, so it is world record pace at this moment. Also in there, we haven't really talked about him. Kibiwott Kandie, well, he's the world leader at the moment with the 58.37 that he ran in Prague back in September. He's really clocked a fantastic series of races. There we see Kandie, the slightly taller Kenyan in the all-black apparel, apart from those greenish-yellow shoes that everybody's wearing these days. Kandie, well, he won in Ras Al Khaimah at the start of the year. That was a sub-59 minute time itself. Won in Prague in 58.37. Second was beaten out by Jacob Kiplimo in the World Half Marathon Championship. So this is his fourth half marathon this year. All three of his half marathons, though, under 59 minutes. Well, it's now a lot clearer. We have the pacer, Timothy Kibiwott, forging away, really doing a fine job at the front there, and 6 men behind him. 2 files of 3 men apiece down the road. Those 6 men, Jacob Kiplimo, Ronats Kipruto, Philemon Kiplino, Kibiwott Kandie. Just trying to identify the 2 men at the back. Mutiso, also of Kenya, working hard at the back. Big group of women now. They've come up to join Dorcas Tuatek. Back of that group was Genzebe Tefare. Rest of the group, mainly the Kenyans. There's Tefare at the front there. She's moved through. Nice split screen effect. Went through 5 kilometers in 15:22, so very quick time for the women as well. .36 with the back to us is Sheila Chepkurui. Back with the men's race now. I think the timing system's having a few problems differentiating between the half marathon and the marathon. Give them a pass on that. The marathon, of course, will be a 2-lap course over the same course, and they're going to be getting underway in just about 11 minutes' time. Just to come down a very long straight going north to south. This is just a brief turn. We should be passing the 7-kilometer mark very shortly, and then we head northwest into the old center of Valencia alongside the Turia riverbed. The Turia River used to flow through the center of Valencia. Then there was devastating floods back in 1957. The river was drained. There you can see it just on the wide shot on your right-hand side of your screen. And now it's the green lung of Valencia, as they like to call it. and it's where many of the runners go in the evenings or at the weekends. And there's the Toria 5-kilometer circuit, a very popular circuit, used more than 65,000 times a month, so I'm told. It's one of those areas where you can run 365 days a year. So still 6 men in that leading group behind the pacemaker, Timothy Kibet. And it's Kiplimo in the orange vest on the right-hand side of your screen, the world champion. Ronats Kipruto in the blue, the light blue vest on the left-hand side of your screen. Kandie, Philemon, Kiplimo, they're immediately behind the two leaders. Wander's starting to struggle in that second group. This is a group that's now starting to look as though going under 1 hour might be a good time for them. Numbers 25 and 26, well, they're pacemakers. They're the pacemakers who've dropped back. They were Solomon Kiplimo. I should say I've been calling the pacemaker at the leading group Timothy Kibet. He's in fact Bravin Kipkoskai. It's Kibet who's leading the second group, along with Solomon Kiplimo. Just gone through 8 kilometers now. This is a very slight incline here. The man who we haven't talked about much, who's in there as well, is Kelvin Kiptum. So we have a group of 5 Kenyans and 1 Ugandan behind the pacemaker. Well, Kelvin Kipton, who I just mentioned, having a very good run indeed, has a personal best just inside the hour at 59.53. He's on course for a very good personal best if he can keep up this sort of tempo. Of course, still a very long way to go. We haven't even reached the halfway point in this race. Well, Valencia, particularly in the newer parts of the city, sweeping wide boulevards. Great for running and perfect for this sort of road race. The Valencia Half Marathon, Trinidad Alonso, EDP. There you go. Nice aerial shot. That's where we all started, and in about 6 minutes' time, the gun will go on the full marathon. But we're back at the half marathon now. Still ticking over pretty rapidly at a very good pace indeed. And Bravin Kipkoskai doing an admirable job at the front. Doesn't look as... It looks quite steep, but I can assure you it isn't. steep. Just a very, very gentle incline. So, from left to right as you're looking at them, there's Ronax Kipkoskei, Alexander Motiso. At the front, Jacob Kiplimo, and also in there, Philemon Kiplimo and Kelvin Kiptun. I did my work on the statistics yesterday, and we've had 3 races in the history of half marathon running which have had 3 men under 59 minutes. I'm just wondering whether we might just crack that little statistic. We might get more men under 59 minutes. At the moment, it's looking good. The women, well, there's a male pacemaker at front, and then a group of, well, it's motorbikes trying to catch up with them. There's a group of 4 women. We've got Senbere Tefarai, the defending champion here in Valencia. She's number 31. 36 is Sheila Chepchirchir. 33, well, it's her first race of the year, and she's never run further than 5 kilometers on the road. Also in there was Genzebe Dibaba, the 1500 meters world champion, and the early leader, Dorcas Tuoek, was also in there. So there's a glance back at the leading Spaniards who are being helped along. You can see Carlos Mayo there. Number 15, well, the near veteran Javi Guerrera. Twice 4th in European Championships marathons. Mayo, well, we're looking to see what he can do. They're not on course just yet for under. Let's just switch back though. That 27:30, absolutely bang on 58-minute pace for the half marathon. That's an unofficial time. Hopefully we'll get a leaderboard up in any moment now. These men a little bit further back. These are the leading Spaniards, Guerrero and Mayo. Mayo, of course, well, he really made his name as a cross-country runner, and by his own admission, that's his preferred surface. Well, this is going to start turning into a very, very exciting race. 6 men, and really, the pacemaker has done a fantastic job so far, but he's left the course now, and it's up to the 6 men in this group now to make sure that the pace stays pretty rapid. As I said, there's some very, very significant financial inducements. It's looking as though they are going to be coming home in under that benchmark of 58.45, so 35,000 euros to the winner. 25,000, 15,000 for second and third. As we switch our attention, you can see there the runners in the marathon just getting ready. Well, historically this has been one of the fastest marathons in the world. No less than 211 people on the start line, all jam-packed into the Monte Olivete Bridge. This is the 40th edition of the Valencia Marathon Trinidad Alfonso. Trinidad Alfonso, the foundation that provides a lot of the finances for this race. Also very, very much involved in the society here in Valencia. Alfonso. Well, it started out thanks to a photograph of the Valencia Marathon in 2011, which caught the imagination of the president of the foundation, Juan Roche. Ever since then, they've put in a lot of money into driving projects with the aim of really just spreading culture, let's just say, through sport and positioning this city and the region at large as a focus for sport. As you can see, no spectators, some organisers, some volunteers on the bridge as we sweep away. It's an elite-only race. As we look at the marathon, some of the sites were, well, it's on the same course as the half marathon, so they'll be very familiar to you. Course record was set last year by Kinde Atenor at 2 hours, 3 minutes and 51 seconds. Atenor in this race, defending his title. Also defending her title, Rosa Dereje. For the last 2 years, it's been Ethiopians who've taken both the men's and the women's crowns here in Valencia. Over the years, though, it's been the Kenyans that have dominated. Kenyan runners have won 17 times out of the 40 occasions in the men's race. Now switching back as well. Nice split screen as we're watching the half marathon. I'll probably pay some more attention to the half marathon at this stage, because it looks as though we are on for some very, very fast times indeed in the half marathon. And we got bags of time to let the marathon develop. Men's marathon, well, the pacemakers have been set the task of reaching the halfway point in 61:30, which obviously would bring them well under a course record. Got the winners for the last 2 years in the marathon. Still 6 men in there. It's looking as though Kelvin Kiptum's struggling a little bit. The Kenyan in 6th place at the moment, starting to drift off the back of that leading group. Still being driven by Jacob Kiplimo. Perhaps the slight surprise in winning the World Half Marathon just 7 weeks ago in Poland. We were expecting something spectacular from his compatriot, Jepchirchir, who set a world record on the track over 10,000 metres here in Valencia just a few weeks prior to that. Ronax Kipruto didn't run in Poland, making his half marathon debut here. And Kibiwott Kandie, the tall Kenyan, tracking Kiplimo. Another Kiplimo in there, and Jacob Kiplimo hails from Uganda. Philemon Kiplimo, just the other side of the Rift Valley, comes from Kenya. It looks like the male pacemakers departed the women's race, and we're down to just 4 women in the women's race at the moment. Hanging on to the back, Genzebe Dibaba, but considering she's never run further than 5 kilometres competitively, she's doing very, very well at this pace. Also in there, Tafare, Tuoek, and Sheila Jepchirchir having a very, very good race indeed. Weren't necessarily expecting Jepchirchir to be up there mixing it with the likes of Tafare, but she's there. Well, the women went through 10 kilometres in 34:39. Still, these men forging ahead. Another 22.5 minutes of running still. Perhaps a little more, perhaps a little bit less. But really, this is starting to become an absolutely terrific race. I think at this point we can really start thinking about very, very fast times. It's not just a question of getting through the first 10 kilometers. Now they're, well, about 13 kilometers into the race. Another 8 to go. Kibiwott Kandie in there, perhaps the tallest of that group of 5. Now you can just see him just jutting out and then darting back into the group. He's on the right-hand side of your screen. Kibiwott Kandie won the Prague Half Marathon back in September in a world-leading 58.38. Kiplimo, the second fastest time of the year when he won in the World Half Marathon Championships. There's the leading women once again. Jepchirchir at the back. Single file for the women. The men spread all over the road. Nice picture there of the 5 main protagonists. Well, 27.25, the 10k split. That was even fractionally faster than I had it at 27.30. So they're well inside 58-minute pace at the moment. There's the lead group, and then a long, long way back to Brenda Jepchirchir in 5th place. So 2 Ethiopians, 2 Kenyans in that leading group at the moment. Emily Sisson, well, she's going to have to pick up the pace. She's there or thereabouts on US record pace. It's always hard running your own race. She's detached and solitary, whereas the 4 women at the front have got company. So just coming up to the 14-kilometer mark for the leading men, so you could say we're 2/3 of the way into this race. There's Mayo, the leading Spaniard, on the right-hand side of your screen. Mayo probably not going to go under the hour, but certainly going to have a very fine run indeed. Still on the left-hand side of your screen, 5 main protagonists in this absolutely terrific, wonderfully competitive Valencia Half Marathon, Trinidad Alfonso EDP. Well, the way things are looking at the moment, we could be looking at something in the lower halves of the 58 minutes, perhaps even a world record. Let's not get too much ahead of ourselves, but once again, let's just say this is also going to really boil up into an absolute terrific battle between these 5 over this final, well, it's now less than 7 kilometers to go. Mutiso, without doubt, having the race of his life. Well, Mutiso has a best of 59.09. Good quality runner without a doubt. But really, he's absolutely flying. Mutiso, well, has 1 win to his name this year. One in Santa Pola back in January. Has managed to actually have quite a decent number of races on the track. Also finished 2nd in the Ras Al Khaimah race, won by Kibiwott Kandie. So Matiso, really an emerging name in this event. And it's Kibiwott Kandie now, who's moved to the front really for the first time in this race. It looks like the marathon has just really become a pack of 6 already, heading out at that 61:30 pace. Don't need to be a great mathematician to work out that that would bring you home in around 63 minutes, but as we know, marathons in this day and age often are the very, very top marathons are won with negative splits, faster second halves rather than first halves. Just gone through 15 kilometers there in almost bang on 41 minutes. So 6 kilometers and change remaining. It's still operating at sub 58-minute pace. And Kibiwott Kandie, well, really starting to push the pace now, testing the mettle of the men behind him. Jepchirchir still looking very, very relaxed. So too is Jacob Kiplimo. Alexander Matiso perhaps a little bit more strained. And, well, Philemon Kiplimo, somewhat more ragged running style compared to the more fluid movers in front of him, but still very much in there. 41:10 at 15 kilometers. Well, 2018, when Jamal Yima set the course record, that was 41:37. An even pace for 58 minutes is 41:15, so they're operating inside world record pace at the moment. Just remember, we've got 5 men in contention here with a little more than 5.5 kilometers to go. Well, Philemon Kiplimo looking as though he's struggling, but he's still hanging on there. The man who looks most relaxed is Jepchirchir. He knows his way around the roads in Valencia, as I said, because he won the Valencia 10-kilometer race here back in January in a world record time. Took that race in 26:24. Also set a fairly short-lived 5-kilometer race as part of that outing. 5-kilometer world record. Well, the women just going through 14 kilometers. Still that group of 4, it looks like. We haven't lost anyone. So it's still Jepchirchir, Dibaba from Ethiopia, Jepchirchir and Tuek of Kenya. Oh, that's interesting. Kiplimo, I think, just said something to Matiso there, perhaps suggesting that he helps out with the pace a little bit. Almost exactly 5 kilometers to go now, so under 14 minutes of running. Jepchirchir, well, looking as though she might just be struggling a little bit, and, well, Dibaba, she's going very much into unknown territory here. Up front, it's Tuek who's really pushing the pace now. We're coming up to 15 kilometers. Well, last year when Jepchirchir set the course record, she went through 15 kilometers in 46:16. So that's a time to keep your eye on. Looking at Mayo, but with the greatest respect, the attention really is on the front of this race. We've got 5 men who are operating inside world record pace. Because we're in the old part of the city now. So we've passed through some of the more winding sites. We've passed the likes of the Valencia Cathedral. We've got a couple of little turns and then we head for a long 2-kilometer straight to the finish. This is the area where they're protected from the breeze. There's a bit of a breeze that hits them over, down the main straight towards the finish though. Look at that wonderful architecture, much of it dating from the 16th and 17th century, that's still here in the centre of Valencia. Not too damaged by the ravages of the Civil War. Got a huge expansion though during the modern period in the last 35-40 years. Well, the men, here you can see, big group at the front. 14:41, pretty good time at the moment. Defending champion Bahanu Legesse, 4th on the all-time list. Legesse the winner last year. Men in front that you're seeing there, well, they're mainly the pacemakers. Lawrence Chirono is in there, you can see. Chirono, the defending Chicago and Boston champion. Abul Kipkarui also saw there on the outside of your screen, outside left flank. Kirui, 2-time world champion at the marathon, perhaps with the greatest respect past his best now, but he's still hanging on in there at this stage, and hanging on in, 5 men at the front. Well, Kandie still working so hard. Ronats Kipruto really has just tracked his every move. Kipruto hasn't really done much work at the front. That's been mainly Kandie and to a certain extent Kiplimo. Philemon Kiplino at the back now, starting to struggle, but Alexander Matiso. Well, Matiso, we didn't have him down as possibly one of the favourites, but he's really confounded our expectations. But at the front, it looks like the 2 Ethiopians. Take that back, it's Tafare. Well, we're switching images quite quickly there, and we've gone back to Carlos Mayo. I'll bring your attention, though, to what's happening in the men's race on the left-hand side of your screen, though. Kibiwott Kandie is really surging and forging ahead here, pushing hard. Mayo having a good run without a doubt. Mayo a long way back at this stage. Just ease back. He just tested them, Kibiwott Kandie. In many respects, he's so far been the best road runner in the world this year. With those 3 sub-59-minute clockings. Yes, he was beaten in the World Half Marathon Championships, but had 2 great runs before that. And he's looking as though he's having another terrific run. So 18 kilometres, we're slightly ahead on the leading men. So just 3 kilometres to go now. And it's Kandie, followed by Ronats Kipruto, the very talented teenage Kenyan. Jacob Kiplimo, just wondering if he's starting to feel a little bit of that. Well, just as I say that, I was going to say I was wondering whether he was tired after his World Championship win. Kandie also in that race finishing second, but Kiplimo comes around the back of Kipruto, starting to lose Mutiso now. He's about 5 meters further back. But it's Kandie. Kandie, look at that steely expression on his face. Kandie now once again surging and pushing and testing. Kiplimo looking around, glancing over his left shoulder to see what's going on with Kipruto. Well, Kiplimo now about 4 or 5 meters back on Kandie, who's quite visibly surging once again. Let's see where we're at when we go back past 19 kilometers. We're just starting to turn into the long straight into the finish line. So we've got just over 2 kilometers and it's basically straight down the road like those arrows on the asphalt. Well, Kiplimo working hard now. I think we've seen the last of Kipruto and Mutiso as far as this battle for victory is concerned. They're still going to run absolutely fantastic times. Just keeping my eyes open now to see whether we've got a 19-kilometer marker. Well, I still make them well inside world record pace. At the moment, they're at about 57.50 pace with less than 2 kilometers to go. In the women's race, there's looking as though there's been some moves in the last kilometer. We've seen the male pacemaker drop out. It's Dorcas Tuituk, who's still doing a fine job, and just tracking her is, well, Genzebe Dibaba. That was a surprise. Well, Kiplimo seems to be slowly reeling in Kandie, and suddenly Kandie starts to look just a little bit tired. He's starting to grimace. And Kiplimo, just such a fluid runner. Well, I make it that they're well inside world record pace at the moment. If they pass 20 kilometers inside 55 minutes, the world record is definitely on. I think it's already on, let's be honest. So now Genzebe Dibaba, fantastic job at the front. I have to say I've been confusing it a little bit because I thought for a while that I was Dorcas Tuituk, but it looks like one of the male pacemakers is still in the race. I know there's some debate about how far male pacemakers should take women. Delhi Half Marathon last week when we saw an absolutely fantastic time. Male pacemaker stayed in until about 19 kilometers. Well, just switching over, it is without doubt well inside world record pace here. And it's going to be a battle between Kibiwott Kandie in the black vest and the orange vests of the world champion, Jacob Kiplimo. Ronets Kipruto having a fantastic debut, but getting detached here. A bit further down the road is Alexander Mutiso. But it's between these two men now as we enter the final kilometre. Kiplimo darting across the road. He's not quite sure what he's doing there. Well, we saw the 20-kilometre marker, which was passed in about 54.45. So they're about 15 seconds inside world record pace here. And they're in for some serious money as well. World record bonus. Under 58 minutes. is €100,000 in addition to the first prize of €35,000. There's a lot at stake here. Well, there's an overhead view of the city. It looks as though the leading women have passed one of the Spaniards. 54.42, the official split at 20 kilometers. They are definitely about 15 seconds inside world record pace. So Nacho Jimenez looking over his shoulder and seeing the leading women behind him. So here's the two leaders, and this is going to be a battle for not just supremacy at this race, but the world record, and a very, very big check indeed. Kibiwott Kandie now surging once again, pushing hard. Jacob Kiplimo tracking his every move. What of these two men? They battled for victory at the World Half Marathon Championship 7 weeks ago. On that occasion, it was Kiplimo who triumphed. Kandie second on that occasion. At the moment, now surging again. Long, long way down the road. It's Ronas Kipruto having an absolutely terrific debut, but he's back in third. But it's looking as though Kandie has a change of gear. He's pulling away now from Kiplimo. This is absolutely going to smash the world record out of sight. That world record from Copenhagen 2019 by Geoffrey Kamworor. Just keep your eye on the clock. 58.01, and Kibiwott Kandie now coming into the finish line. Kiplimo's got nothing left. 100 meters to go. It is going to be a world record. You can see it on the tape. Kibiwott Kandie unofficially 57.32. A world record for the Kenyan, taking a stunning 29 seconds off the world record. Absolutely magnificent. Well, there's only a small crowd here to witness it in person, but they're absolutely going as wild as they can. The music has been turned up to ear-deafening decibels. Kibiwott Kandie, not just the Valencia Half Marathon Trinidad Alfonso EDP winner, but now the world record holder as well. Well, we're still awaiting official confirmation. That's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to change from 51, so I should say 57.32. And hey, if we get a second or two, well, he's still the world record holder. Absolutely stunning performance. Not getting much of a reaction from Kandie, but he has to be a candidate for the world's #1 roadrunner this year. World record. Well, Valencia has been a city of world records on almost every single surface. So Kibiwott Kandie with